Hey, welcome to another episode of Life in Six Strings. I'm Kylie Olsson. Thanks for watching the show. If you would like to see some more interviews, I've been quite busy over lockdown, so there's quite a few up here with various guitarists from Joe Bonamassa, Benny Marsden, Doug Aldridge, Rob Caggiano. So there's a few up here, so go and check them out. Have some fun, dig deep. And whilst you're at it, if you like, please click like and subscribe. That would be amazing. Thank you. So my guest tonight, she is pretty incredible. She's got one of the most amazing and unique distinctive voices that I've heard in quite a while, but she also plays the guitar like a freaking demon. God damn it, she's so talented, it makes me sick. She's considered a blues artist, but I think that her music is quite heavily steeped in the blues, but then you can hear lots of influences from rock and roll, Americana, pop. So she's got this really kind of unique sound, something that I think a lot of artists are kind of striving for, really. So I'm super excited to have her on the show. So please welcome to Life in Six Strings, the amazing Samantha Fish. How have you been?
I've been doing okay. I mean, just kind of managing life, in a pandemic and still trying to play and figure out ways to make music in a safe, socially distanced way. It's been weird. I mean, the first part of this was really strange, but I kind of focused all my efforts into writing
Yeah.
and recorded a record, which hopefully will be out soon. but
Okay.
I've just been trying to channel my frustration and creative energy into something positive.
So is the album finished?
Yeah, it's like I think it's finished. It's done. It's done as far as I'm concerned. But sometimes it's the putting it out afterward that takes a while. Putting it all together. But it's a lot of fun.
So what can we expect from the new album then? Because I guess you normally when you, I'm guessing you can tell me otherwise, but it's like 24/7. You're just like traveling around everywhere, crazy, touring, then making an album, writing on the road maybe. And I guess now you've had time to sort of sit down and go, oh, I can really think about this and write what I want to write.
Yeah. I mean, it's the first time that I've ever not written an album on the road or like in hotel rooms between shows. I
Mhm.
mean, that's been my life the last 8-10 years, just constantly on the road. And so and I love it. um I will say, like, it was a different experience getting to just wake up and go, okay, today I'm just going to focus on writing. And some days I was really productive, other days kind of tore my hair out, but it was a new experience. I think with every record that I do, I'm always really focusing on growing and evolving and taking what I do and pushing it into into a new direction. That's really important to me. And so I just always say, expect the unexpected. You're always going to have me and the guitar present, but it's going to change. The style is going to be interesting and different.
I like that because I can hear that on your records. You are constantly evolving as an artist because I think, you're put in this kind of blues bracket, but actually you change constantly. Like there are blues elements of it, but I can hear Americana, rock and roll, there's some pop in there. It's like, and you seem to just draw from everything and keep growing as an artist.
That's kind of my focus. I like to bring the blues. I mean, the blues is always going to be a part of me as an artist because it's so heavily influenced my music and where my heart is and where my passion's at. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just a fan of music, music in general in a broad sense. So I mean, I always want to bring these new elements in and just see what I can get away with, basically. And see what
So
I can
what's
pushing myself.
Yeah, good. So what sort of seeped through on this new album then?
Um, it's really, I think there's a lot of rock and roll to it. I mean, but it feels like, poppy in a way, and there's like some heavy blues elements, but we just use some different instrumentation and different approach. I think it sounds modern.
Great.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't give too much away. I don't really like describing my music. That's sort of hard for me because I don't know how to, exactly, say exactly what it is. But I feel like it's the next step for me.
Yeah. So when like you say it's hard to articulate your music, I can imagine because it is just something that I if it's when you what I guess what I'm trying to say is when you write, is it a personal thing for you? Are you writing about personal experiences, or are you writing about, I don't know, a friend tells you a story about someone else and that's kind of what you're writing about?
It's kind of a mixed bag, really. I mean, I do write from personal experience, but um, we're affected by everybody in our lives, and I think as an artist, it's my job to kind of get outside of my own story sometimes and tell a different story.
Mm-hmm.
That's it just helps me to broaden a little bit, to not always just be talking about my feelings. So I've been trying to get a little more outside of that lately, but um, you know, everybody loves a good personal love song or, personal heartbreak song. And I try to just kind of find the balance between that. But I like storytelling too. I mean, you can really take things in a bunch of different directions if you approach it that way.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. So how did this great love affair begin for you with your guitar? How did you
Uh,
find each other?
okay. My dad played guitar, and all of his friends played guitar,
Hmm.
and they'd like accompany. It was like accompaniment for singing, songs around the house when I was a kid. Like they'd have these fun parties and sing old country songs, and everybody played guitar. It was just like second nature. So I think I grew up just like watching that and really appreciating it. And I picked one up when I was 15 I wanted to sing, and I kind of like really wanted something to help me support it. And so I started singing and playing guitar at the same time. And I don't know, I found myself in it.
Because I know that you started on the drums, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny. I've got Nuno Betancourt coming on the show, and he's the same. He started on the drums as well, and he says that if I can give advice to any musician, always start on the drums because it gives you this kind of internal timing kind of thing that it's like good training ground basically.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I tell people that too. I think everybody should like pick up the fundamentals of drums because it helped me a lot in my guitar playing, just, not having to be so mindful of rhythm all the
Mhm.
time. I mean, it just becomes something that's innate. Um, but yeah, it's really important. I think being able to keep a beat is probably the most important thing in music. So
You're right. Yeah. Something that I have not mastered. I'm terrible with timing. I don't even think about it, but I'm not playing with other people. So I guess it's all right at the moment.
it's tough, man. I mean, to sit there and try and keep count. I've got it to the point where I can kind of tap my foot, but I'm inconsistent. I'm not perfect with it, but it did help to have that background just because, yeah, I don't know, you learn about different beats and just where to start the one, and it helps.
Yeah. I was reading that you said you were really shy when you were younger. So did the guitar kind of, because you said you wanted to sing, so did the guitar kind of help you with that it sort of gave you something to hide behind a little bit?
Um,
Do you think? Maybe not.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I will say this: when I'm on stage without the guitar, I feel completely weird. I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do. So maybe it's a bit of a security blanket in a weird way.
Yeah.
Um, but like when I was younger, I think it kind of gave me confidence. When I started feeling like I was developing something, unique, it made me feel like I had a voice. I had something to offer. It helped me develop like socially in a lot of ways. It's been my adolescent best friend. So I know it's kind of weird. It sounds weird, but learning how to play an instrument can give you confidence in a weird way, even though it like breaks you down every time you pick it up. Um, it does help. Like kids, I always encourage kids to pick it up and play.
I think it's the best thing ever. It's like being the greatest. Although it's been the worst year, it's been the greatest year at the same time because I've had time to learn how to play this and have some fun and just focus. And no, it's wonderful. It's the greatest thing ever.
That's awesome. I see you got a couple back there. What's
I
your main?
have. I'm a bit of a. I'm gear junkie already, and I've been playing less than a year. I've got a bit of a collection going, but I thought, as I know that you play the white SG,
Oh.
I've got one too.
Yay, match. What's up? That's
I like it
great.
also. Why did you choose the white SG? I mean, I love Sister Rosetta Tharpe, and I know that she played one. I mean, she was badass. I mean, what did you know about her? Is that why you chose it, or was it?
Yeah, I knew about her, and yeah, she's wicked. Like, straight up, just wicked. I mean, her rhythm and her ability to riff between while she's singing is just like, it's incredible. And yeah, I mean, I just like the black and white SG at the time. I hate to make it about fashion, but this guitar goes with everything.
Yeah,
And I have some that don't quite go with everything, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, guitars are cool and stand alone on their own, but I don't know. I'd never really had a white guitar, and I just thought it looked really rock and roll, and um, yeah, I just went for it.
it's great. It's funny because I was trying to think like the sound because you've got a really, for me, I think you've got a really unique sound when you're playing the guitar. It's this kind of like gritty. You can hear you digging in. Like it feels like not that you're struggling with, but you're like really pushing it to its limits.
I
And I
am
think that the
fisted.
SG works perfectly for that.
Yeah. I mean, I am ham-fisted. Like when I'm playing live, I mean, I put everything I have into the guitar, and sometimes, I've had conversations with other guitar players, that are like, just talking shop and stuff. And it's like, I have a tendency to kind of probably like hold on a little too hard and like choke it a bit, but it's kind of like you know, in the, in the moment, it feels right to just really, go after it. But I don't know. I mean, it's given me issues with this thing too. I knock the intonation out all the time. So
One of the greatest videos that I've seen is of you, and it was on the Joe Bonamassa, the Keeping the Blues Alive at Sea, and it's you, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, what's his name, Paul Schaefer's on there conducting. Um, Walter Trout is there. You've got Jimmy Hall, and it's just I was just mesmerized by this video of you guys all just digging in, and then Paul sort of walking around. He's going like pointing at whoever's
yeah.
meant to go next. You bloody owned that stage amongst all those guys. I was like, go girl, this is incredible.
Thank you.
Were
Thank you.
you scared?
Um, I have been scared in the past, but I remember that specific moment. I was just really excited to get up there because I never played with those guys before, and it was my first time on the cruise. Um, I think I was a little nervous because I was performing a material that wasn't like we'd had a rehearsal earlier in the day, and
Yeah.
I was doing something like that was kind of out of my comfort zone. So I was trying, but I practiced and I was ready to go, and I just wanted to get up there and have fun. I mean, sometimes the nerves do hit me in a weird way, and I'm like, God, why am I freaking out right now? I think it just means you care. Like that's always telling myself, it's just because you care. But yeah, I mean that was a lot of fun. That was such a cool trip.
Yeah. I mean, I just loved the way you came out and you were just like I said, really just going for it.
Thank
And I'm
you.
thinking, how is that girl? She's doing that, and there's everyone there. And no, but Paul makes me laugh. He looks like, I mean, he doesn't look drunk, but he looks like a drunk fan that's jumped up on stage that shouldn't be there because he's just
Right.
wandering around between you, and there's hardly any space. It was just hilarious. I just loved it. I just loved the whole thing.
He's got such like a natural vibe on stage. It's kind of like his living room. You might as well be in his living room or something because he's just sort of like saunters around and like goes all over the place. He's pretty he's an entertainer, man. I mean, that's primarily that guy's just so entertaining, and yeah, he's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's a dude. He's fun. But so who are some of your influences then? Because I'm guessing you've played with quite a lot of people that maybe you were listening to their records when you were a kid. Like I know that you've played with Buddy Guy before, haven't you, and stuff. And
Yeah.
recently you worked with Kev Mo and so yeah. I mean, what were the records that you were listening to that kind of really set you on the path?
You know, gosh, it's so hard to narrow it down. I know when I, I've as a kid when I first started listening to music, my taste changed so fast, and like I was just kind of consuming so much music. I think, when I first picked up the guitar, it was like I just was listening to the radio, and anything on the radio, it's like
Yeah.
I tried to play along to. And really, what you're drawn to, I think, if you're listening to like mainstream radio, it's probably more classic rock if you're a guitar player, because those are all the structured big solos. So I mean, I first got into like, Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Mike Campbell's one of my favorite guitar players. So I mean, I think there's always this like kind of rock and roll thing in the backdrop for me that started it. And then I found out all those guys were really into blues, and so I started just going down the rabbit hole of like, Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and Freddie King. Love Freddie King. Stevie Ray Vaughan was one of my first big guitar heroes. And then you find out he's into Delta players, and I started finding like Skip James and Charlie Patton just by going down the line and really developing my personal taste and what I like, what I, what I was really drawn to. I think North Mississippi Delta stuff was just, I don't know. I love that Fat Possum label. I think that was a huge thing for me because it was so drum oriented, and I was still a drummer at heart, very danceable. So any like Junior Kimbrough and R.L. Burnside, and then all these contemporary bands that were playing that kind of music. The list just kind of goes on and on. And then for singers, I was really into soul music, so a lot of the Detroit sound, and Otis Redding and Aretha Franklin. I loved, just like Ray Charles, one of my favorite singers.
Oh, you can hear all of that in your music that you're putting out for sure. You're definitely well educated. You can hear for sure in that area.
Well, I think we got to just consume as much as we can, and then you find yourself, you find yourself in that.
Yeah, you pick out the best bits from all the greats. Why not? They're good teachers.
What speaks to you, whatever speaks to you.
Yeah.
Um, but it's I'm still digesting music and like finding new stuff I like all the time that becomes my new like, oh yeah, holy grail item.
Sure. So you've got your own record label, haven't you?
Yeah, Wild Heart
Wild
Records.
Heart Records. Why did you decide to set up your own label?
Because I wanted to produce and put out music for people.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's not easy being a musician, and like I feel a lot of my success has come from having a good team, and I wanted to help facilitate that for someone else. And my manager Ruben is a partner with me on the label, and we just really wanted to do that together. And he knew I wanted to produce records, and it was kind of like a way to do both. To be able to get in the producer's chair and become that, and I really like helping people. I like helping artists facilitate their dream and like their vision of an album. It's fun for me to like not have anything to do with it musically, like playing on it, but just try and help them shape it. It's really fun for me. And then to put it out, just I like helping somebody, being a team, that helps someone play music for a living.
Sure. So how many records have you produced now then?
Three.
Three. Okay.
Yeah, three.
That's cool. I love it. I mean, there's not that many female producers out there, is there? I mean, weird.
Yeah, I don't know if there are female producers. I just don't know if producers always get a lot of like, screen time. It's so behind the scenes, But I mean, it is empowering. I mean, I've never worked with a female producer personally. So I mean, it's empowering for me, like, to be a woman and be like, you know, I want to help hone this project and, you know, help you get what you want out of it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, it just seems like it's always the ones that you do hear about, they're always men, aren't they? Even there's never any women that you hear that are, you know, oh, the great producer or whatever. Hey.
There's a lot of roles, not just in the music industry, but in industry in general, that I think, you know, there haven't been many women to break through on that side of it. And I think it's important because if we have representation, if somebody's doing it and it's out in the open, then it becomes more of a normalized thing, which it should be. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just producing a record. It doesn't
I know.
specific, you know. But I think that's in a lot of industries. You know, the music industry is absolutely guilty of that kind of thing. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it's like girls with guitars. I mean, that I think that's starting to be normalized a little bit now. There's it seems like there's a lot more women playing. What do you how do you find it?
yeah. Um, you know, when I first started playing, of course, you know, most of my heroes were men, you know, men
Yeah,
playing guitar, and there were only like a handful of females I could, you know, comparatively. And now I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because I'm in the industry and I'm seeing more females just out there in general because I'm more, I guess, enlightened or educated about what's actually out there, or maybe there are more women picking up instruments. I know there's been like some statistics and data from Guitar Center about the number of women buying guitars versus the number of men, and it's like even now, which it
yeah.
never has been that way ever. So I mean, I I just think it's important, you know, for women to pick up instruments, and we, you know, just normalize it.
Yes.
It's not gender specific at all.
No, no, I agree with you. I mean, you had that. You were in the band with called Girls with the Guitars.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was never too hot on that name, but it was like so it was like okay, specific what we were, and the whole point was to be this kind of empowering, like, in your face, hey, girls with guitars. There's nothing more in your face than a band called Girls with Guitars.
I mean, the
Okay.
sentiment and everything was there, wasn't it? Like you say, being in your face, three girls like killing it up there on stage, but then it was just the name.
I know, I know. I was like, do I really want to do this? And my friend's the one who said, you want to do this. This is going to be great for you. And it turned out to be such a fantastic thing for me. But I was always really weary, especially early on, of like, you know, when I first started playing music, I'd come out in Chuck Taylors and like baggy t-shirts because I just didn't want anybody to. It's such a double-edged sword sometimes coming out as a girl. If you dress a certain way, they think you're this way. If you dress this way, oh, you're that way. You know, it's like,
It's
I
tough.
don't know. It's so hard to find your way, and especially when it's not, you know, in your face all the time. So I think Girls with Guitars was like a really empowering moment for me. You know, being a young, I think I was 20 when I joined that band, and it was
Yeah.
just, I really learned a lot, you know.
And it was probably quite good to have two other females to sort of talk to about everything that was going on, right? As well, to sort of
Yeah,
confide in.
absolutely. They could completely. I mean, we all related to each other and we traded stories, and you know, you get you become stronger in that. You know, when you communicate and you can relate to each other, it's like okay, it feels good to feel connected to people, and you know, you're not the only one these things happen to, and
Yeah.
um, it's empowering.
Did you, is it true? Did you train to be an opera singer?
Oh no,
I
my
was like, really? Did she train to be an opera singer? I was like looking around, but so what did you?
mom classically, sorry, this is slipping. My mom was classically trained, so maybe that is something I've said in an interview before, but no, oh no, I am so not classically trained like that. I'm blown away by people who are. I mean, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
So did you have any form of like training or anything like that? Did you do lessons on the guitar or did you teach yourself?
I pretty much, I mean, I get like a couple, you know, little one-on-one sessions every once in a while with just friends, but I'm mostly self-taught on the
Ah,
guitar. Um, just pick stuff out by ear, but um, singing, singing was always something for me that you know, I could go and watch somebody play guitar and go, okay, I see what you're doing. But with singing, you know, you can't really see what's going on in here. So I went and got lessons for years and just off and on.
Mm.
Um, Worked with this woman in Kansas City, and she just, you know, I mean, there's so much to think about. I just didn't want to damage my voice or do it wrong. You know, I felt like I really wanted to just learn how to sing so I could have longevity and get the most out of my voice and stretch my range and you know, it's one of those things you can really do a lot more than you think you can with it. I know a lot of people, they're like, I just wasn't born with it, but it is one of the, it's like going to the gym, you know, you can have a six pack if you did 10 million sit-ups. It's like that. You can train it to be, you know, I mean, it's not necessarily whatever you want it to be. I mean, we all do have limitations, but I think there is some conditioning where you can become a singer, you know.
There's hope for me then. Maybe I
I
can.
think there's hope for everybody. I really do. I mean, maybe that's optimistic and foolish of me, but I really think there's hope for everybody on that. And it's so hard. I think singing's so hard. Playing guitar is really hard, but I can watch somebody do that, you know? It's
I
weird.
completely admire you even more now. Like because now I play this, and the fact that you sing and play it at the same time. Because as soon as because my guitar teacher's always like, no, you need to like hum out the tune or do something. And as soon as I try to open my mouth, I can't do anything else with the guitar. It just all goes
It,
out the window.
you know what helps me sometimes? Because I'll write a song that's really complicated on the guitar and really complicated vocally. Like the worst thing is I'll write a song that has two different, you know, like rhythms
Yeah.
or you know, like a different rhythm a lot, you know, with my vocals and then with my guitar. And I got to learn how to do it. I can't do it until I have a drummer there keeping time with me. And then you can
Ah,
forget
interesting.
something like clicks. And this has happened to me a couple times where, you know, I'm at home just struggling by myself trying to figure out how to play the song, and then I get somebody behind me playing drums, and it automatically just works.